Proteins are the next type of biomolecules that we'll be learning. Protein is the most abundant molecule which is present in every biological cell. Around about 50% of dry weight of cell, it consists of proteins. That indicates the significance of proteins in a cell. Hundreds of proteins of various types are found in single cell, and these proteins have different types of vital functions which are required to be carried out for the metabolic processes of the cell. Proteins are made up with amino acids. Proteins are responsible for carrying out several functions, including their role in structural components or giving structural integrity to several cellular components. These amino acids are of 20 different types. These amino acids are 20 naturally occurring amino acids. So, proteins are made up with building blocks which are called as amino acids. So, different proteins, they have differences in relation to the composition of amino acids, complexity of their structure, and the length of amino acids. Sequence of amino acids and length of amino acids is the principal difference between different types of proteins which are present in a single cell. These 20 different amino acids are responsible for such differences in relation to length and sequence. Let us talk about this building block of proteins, that is amino acid. All these amino acids have a common structure, that is the following structural formula. This is the structural formula. Here we can see that there is a central carbon atom. This carbon atom has an amino group at one end, that is NH2 amino group. Another end is occupied by COOH, that is carboxyl group. So this is amino group at one end, and another end there is carboxyl group. One end is bound to hydrogen atom, and the fourth bond is attached to a R group. Now you see this R group, it is a chemical group, and this chemical group is different for all different types of amino acids. This means that every amino acid will have this central carbon atom, an amino group, a carboxyl group, a hydrogen atom, and a R group, which is different for different amino acids. So this R group is responsible for the differences among 20 amino acids. So this is the general structure of amino acid. You should draw this structure in your notebook. So this carbon has attached to 1, 2, 3 and 4 different chemical groups. That should be remembered. This is the general structure of and amino acid. When these amino acids join together, the bond which is formed between these two amino acids is called as peptide bond. And this peptide bond is CONH bond. We'll learn how exactly this bond is formed. So peptide bond is formed between the carboxyl group COOH of one amino acid and amino group of another amino acid by the removal of water molecule. So amino acids, one amino acid joined to another, that amino acid joined to the next amino acid, and that leads to formation of a chain of amino acids. It is called as polypeptide chain. So when two amino acids are bound to each other, it is called as dipeptide. Three amino acids, tripeptide. Five amino acids, pentapeptide. So on and so forth. When many amino acids are linked together, it forms a polypeptide chain. So we should remember what is the meaning of polypeptide chain. When amino acids are linked together, it leads to formation of a polypeptide chain. This is diagram of a tripeptide chain. Here you can see R1, R2, R3. These are the different functional groups which indicates that this is one amino acid, second amino acid, and third amino acid. We can see here that the common structure of amino acid is a central carbon atom, then amino group, to another end it is COOH group, one bond is with hydrogen atom and one is with functional R group. This is the structure of amino acid. Now here in this case we can see that there is a peptide bond formation between this amino acid and second amino acid, and the bond which is formed is due to the removal of water molecule between this amino acid and this amino acid. So here we can see earlier it was COOH, this was NH2, so one hydrogen atom from here and hydroxyl group, that is OH, from here will combine and it will be removed in the form of H2O. So because of that there will be formation of this bond called as CONH bond. Then this will be called as a dipeptide. We can see here the similar event has happened here. COOH group of second amino acid and NH2 of third amino acid. Now they are linking as a result of removal of one water molecule, because earlier here it was COOH, here it was NH2, so one hydrogen atom plus one hydroxyl group from here COOH. So in all HOH are removed and that leads to formation of CONH linkage. So this is how this third amino acid is now linked to this polypeptide chain. This results into formation of a tripeptide, 1, 2 and 3 amino acids. So we can see in this chain there will be two ends. This is amino terminal end, which is called as N-terminal end. Here this is carboxy terminal end. That means it is C terminal end. So there is a slight mistake here, that it should be a C terminal end here. Here, with this one, it should be C terminal end. So by mistake it is written N terminal end, but it should be C terminal end. So there will be two terminals now to this polypeptide chain. One is N terminal end and the another one is C terminal end. N terminal end because it is amino group here. C terminal end because here carboxyl group is there. This is the structure of a polypeptide chain. We can practice it on paper, how to draw the structure of a dipeptide or tripeptide. So you can practice it on paper in order to understand the process of formation of dipeptide and tripeptide. There are some proteins that have chemical groups other than amino acids. That means all proteins which are made up with amino acids, but in addition to amino acids, there may be presence of some other chemical groups that increases the complexity of proteins. So there are many proteins that consist only of amino acids and contain no chemical group. They are pure proteins. Enzymes such as ribonuclease and a contractile protein, actin. These are such examples. Such proteins are called as simple proteins. That means they are only made up with amino acids. They are called as simple proteins. However, there may be proteins that contain various chemical constituents along with amino acids as an integral part of their structure. These proteins are called as conjugated proteins. That means they are conjugated with some other chemical groups. So there are amino acids, and along with amino acids there are different chemical groups. Let us see what are these different chemical groups. Some proteins, they have conjugated with carbohydrate, or they contain carbohydrate. So this conjugate will be called as glycoprotein. A conjugate that is made up with proteins and carbohydrate. It will be called as glycoprotein. Likewise, when lipids are combined with proteins, they will be called as lipoproteins. So these are the proteins. It is a class of protein conjugated with lipid. Nucleoprotein. Nucleoproteins are conjugates of protein nucleic acid complexes. Likewise, phosphoproteins, proteins that have phosphate groups, and metalloproteins, proteins which are complex with metals. We need to remember that all these forms of proteins are very important in order to carry out different functions which are to be carried out in a functional cell. All these are important in relation to carry out different functions in the cell in the form of metabolic reactions or the structural integrity of different components of cells or cellular components.